Limits are one of the first things you need to master in order to be successful in calculus. Before we get started on the basics, there are some properties we need to learn before we can evaluate a limit. Now that we looked at the properties, we can start evaluating limits. The easiest way to start is to use direct substitution, otherwise known as plug and chug, where they tell you the number that they want you to find the limit of, and you directly plug it into the equation. In this example, we'll plug 8 into the equation, and when we do this, we come out with 5. So the limit equals 5. Sometimes when you plug it in, you are left with a 0 on the bottom of the equation, which means that there might be a hole in the graph. So in order to compensate for that, you have to either factor the equation or you can rationalize the numerator. In this example, we're going to factor, and when we factor it out, we are left with the limit equals 1. If you don't have a lot of time, there are easier ways to find out the limit if you're left with a 0 on the bottom. You can look at the graph, or you can make a table with your calculator. When you make a graph, you plug the equation into the y1 of your calculator and go to graph, and you can find the point that they want you to find the limit of and see where the graph is approaching to. If it is hard to tell, then you can go to table, and when you define it, you can ask what numbers to plug in, and you can plug in numbers that get close to the one you're looking for. If the values from the left and the right are not equal, then the limit does not exist. Cases where a limit fails to exist is when the limit from the left does not equal the limit from the right, which is also known as a jump in the graph. Another way is when there is oscillating behavior, and the last way is when there's unbounded behavior, which is also a vertical tangent line when the graph is going to positive and negative infinity. An easy way to know if you're doing the right thing is to start off with the conditions for a limit to exist, which is that the limit from the left has to exist, the limit from the right has to exist, and both of those limits have to be equal to each other. If you look at that first, you'll be able to know which method would be best to start with, and that will be very convenient for solving. This has been the calculus lesson of the day. Thanks for watching.